Oh, good morning, everybody. How you doing here? Welcome to Chicago. Just getting the camera straight. Yeah, we got snow. We got happy December. We got December 1st, 2025. So I guess it's appropriate. We got snow. We had some snow on Saturday after Thanksgiving, and let's see if anybody's up and about. I know it's even today's probably still a travel day. Hey, we got some holiday decorations here. We're on Fullerton. It's about 20 degrees, and it doesn't feel as bad as you would think. 20 degrees, but maybe I'm getting acclimated to the weather there. Yeah, happy December there, MSN. How you doing there? Jessica, call me Fat Jesus. How you doing there? Wes, Kiki, yeah. So I got to be careful crossing the intersections. All the slush and the water that, you know, of course, gathers here. I already got an untied shoe. I better take care of this untied shoe. So we'll find a place to set down the camera here, and you get to watch me tie my shoe. I expect there's only going to be a few people in the office today, so I'm in no hurry to get to work here. I'm trying to control the camera here so we can get on the bench here. It's always opposite. There we go. Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing? Tie my shoe. Oh. Yeah, these laces, they get funky. These boots got me through many winters. I gotta get some new ones. I got some other ones that I got a hole in it that I gotta replace. There, hopefully that'll hold. But yeah, I like these new version 7 Osmo gimbals there, DJI. It's got a tripod, which helps out a lot. Eventually, you got to set down the gimbal. Hey, good morning, Chicago there, Prince. How's everybody? Grandma's Corner. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in there. Yeah, we got snow. Yeah, we'll be as safe as we can. I'm not going to rush. Like I said, we'll get to the office when we get to the office. You know, I'm just like all Chicago live streamers. We're just glorified weathermen. I think Steve Lyon had 1.6 million likes. I heard Jennifer You Should Eat say that. I think he was covering the snow. People have much interest in the weather in Chicago, and Steve Lyon as well, which is great. I'm glad that so many people were watching his live stream, which is great. Yeah, the Bears beat the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles. We're still celebrating the Bears win there on Friday. Let's get across Stockton. Here's the bus here. Usually I go under the tunnel, but these trees look interesting. On last Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we went in the conservatory here. There's a nice rerun where we go through, and they got poinsettias in the show house there for the seasonal display. Then we went to Peggy Noda Bar. There's the Bell and Stratford looking nice. If you just tuned in, we're in Chicago. We're heading to work here on a Monday, December the 1st, 2025. We got 20 degrees here in Chicago. We got, I don't know, what did we get, 6 inches of snow? We'll round up. I don't even know if we got that much. But they're calling for 2 to 4, maybe additional inches. Tonight it'll be powdery stuff on top of this. So as we're walking home through the lights of Michigan Avenue there, we might have some pretty snow. Put us in the mood. Hey, it was heavy wet snow. Now it's going to be cold all week. But yeah, more snow. You got 12 inches, 21 degrees. Yeah, we got the same temperature, 20. Sounds like you got more snow where you're at. That's good. Thanks for people weighing in when the weather reports. That's why I said I'm a glorified weatherman here in Chicago. We're up in Lincoln Park. We're south of Fullerton. I'm heading to work here. We'll just walk through the park. Sun just rose, I think, or is rising. It's kind of, I don't know, I can't tell. It's kind of a gray sky. But here it is. Here's the conservatory. Like I said, we checked out the inside of that on Wednesday. Here's a nice skyline view to Chicago, Illinois. There's Sears Tower on the right. John Hancock on the left, unless my screen's reversed there. Hey, you got snow. Hey, you dry in Oregon? That's good there. Tired as well? Yeah, I got my winter boots on. You got to have your winter boots on. You got to get some waterproof boots for stepping through the... Well, it depends on if we go through... If it stays cold, if it stays like 20, everything will stay nice and frozen, and you won't get a wet foot. But like yesterday and Saturday, the whole time it was snowing, it was a wet 28 to 32 degree snow. And so all that salt on the street, every time you stepped off a curb, you get a wet foot, unless you got galoshes or waterproof boots on. But here in Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, we got 20 degrees here. We got 7:02 in the AM. Here's your 7:02 wake-up call. Heading to work here in the snow. We'll head all the way to Michigan Avenue and south of the river there. I'm heading to work. So I strongly feel today we'll have a good chance of getting in the Christ Kindle market, because there's snow forecast later today. It's a Monday after a 4-day holiday weekend. A lot of people are going to be working from home today, and a lot of people will be traveling or traveled yesterday, so there won't be a lot of people were in town. Went to go to Christ Kindle. The lines were crazy this weekend. I didn't even bother going over there on Saturday, even though we were down there. Or Thursday, I mean, Thursday we were down there, not Saturday. Thursday, I felt like Thursday was a Saturday, because I was off of work and I was downtown, but it was Thanksgiving. We covered the parade. Yeah, we got reruns of the parade on YouTube and TikTok. We transferred some of it. We went to the Zoo Lights. We'll go back to the Zoo Lights on Tuesday. I already bought a ticket. They're going to have vendor booths. We'll see what the weather's going to be like. The weather might be crazy. But clean boots, yeah. Yeah, I'm not predicting the weather. We're living it. I'm the gimp here. I'm the person that gets out in the crazy cold and the wind and the rain. I'd be like the hurricane reporter there, out getting blown around by the hurricane force winds. You always got to have your person on the scene. See, big giant mounds of snow. We got giant mounds of snow here in Lincoln Park, Chicago. See, Lincoln Park, Chicago, Illinois. We're over here by the zoo. Webster. That's Webster and Stockton. There's a big pile of snow. Almost 5 feet tall, the mound there. They pushed it up from the Zoo Lights entrance, so people got a clear sidewalk. Hey, the Zoo Lights, yeah, we checked them out already. We got reruns, whole hour-long rerun. We hung out with Ernesto, Chicago Nuggies, and Jose. Jose has a really good rerun of the Zoo Lights. Hey, and Jennifer You Should Eat posted a nice rerun. You should check it out. She does documentary quality TikTok videos about the extension of the Humboldt Park elevated tracks there in Logan Square, or near there, why they didn't keep extending the tracks west where the 606, the Bloomingdale Trail, the bike trail is now. That was a railroad track that most people knew, and they could have utilized that, but they were, just watch your video, she talks all about it. But hey, we're heading to work here on a Monday. It's kind of, see, this is all frozen and undulated here. The mush refroze overnight, but still better than the slush. You can still walk over this and get traction. Yeah, tea time there. Key. Yeah. Good morning there, David. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. David Okoa, Peggy Baker. Busy, sober life. Yeah, you're in Fort Worth. Hey, we might be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area at the end of this month. We're gonna maybe go through there on the way to Houston. We'll see. Maybe we'll check out the stockyards in Fort Worth. No promises. We'll see how it goes. I'm planning a big Texas trip later this month for the holidays. Usually we go to Houston area. Be nice to get further south, because by then, you know, the snow's all great and fine at the beginning, especially for the holidays here before Christmas and New Year's and Hanukkah and everything. You got Christmas, or you got nice snow to go with the Christmas lights and all the decorations. But then once you get to January and February, you're pretty much done with the snow. The only thing fun that happens usually in January is a lot of times the ponds freeze over. So the north and south pond will freeze over, especially the north pond. People will play winter sports on it. They'll play ice hockey. They'll clear off rinks, ice rinks, and we will do cross-country skiing on the frozen ponds. But you don't want to do that on the lake. The lake's too dangerous, the big lake, Lake Michigan. And sometimes you see people ice fishing in the harbors. It depends. They do that more in Wisconsin and Minnesota. But hey, we're heading to work here at Lincoln Park, Chicago, Illinois. We got 20 degrees, 707. Thankfully, it's wind still. If it was crazy windy, I might have worked from home today. I did have my stuff with me. Here's, yeah, I don't know if we should walk by. I want to walk by the South Pond because nice views, but Jennifer You Should Eat was over here last night looking for the beavers. The beavers don't like me either. But sometimes it's hard to walk on those nature boardwalk. But hey, we're heading through the snow here. You see we got about, I don't even think this is 6 inches. I think this is like 4 inches. 4 to 5 inches of snow. That's what I'm going to call it. I know you might got more. You might have more snow where you're at in the Chicagoland area or Wisconsin or Indiana. Yeah, Naya, Margie, Lambie, how's everybody doing there? Yeah, happy December 1st. Today's our anniversary. Hey, happy anniversary there. Time to repeat 1985. Yeah, with the Bears. Yeah, can you believe the Bears are they got the number 2 seed right currently in the playoff standings. Of course, there's tougher games to play. They got to play Green Bay. Got some tough divisional games, but beating Philadelphia Eagles on Friday, now people are starting to take them seriously because the Eagles were 8-3. Now the Bears are 9-3. After they started the season pretty much on a 3-game losing streak, and then they, you know, they haven't won all 9 straight, but almost. You know, it's pretty good. So we'll head by the South Pond here, and we'll head to work here. Yeah, the Eagles, you know, well, you're getting roughed up. You know, any Super Bowl champion team, everybody's gunning for you. We're thankful. I was rooting for the Eagles when you beat Green Bay and you beat Detroit before you played the Bears. I really thought the Eagles were going to defeat the Bears, especially at home. You know, the Eagles played in Philadelphia on Friday, but I think it was because it was a weird time too. But here we'll head by the South Pond here. Hey, the South Pond's trying to freeze over, so it looks like but it's not. You can't ice skate on it yet. Here's the Cafe Briar. Yeah, well, so at lunchtime we'll check out the ice skating rinks. We'll go over to the Kris Kringle. I'm sure we got. If we can get into Kris Kringle, we'll do it first. We're at Daily Plaza. It is a little slick. There's some water that melts that goes across here. Yeah, Eagles fans. Yeah, Peggy. Well, the season isn't over. I'm sure there's a good chance, as long as the Bears can make the playoffs, because I'm pretty confident the Eagles will make the playoffs, and they'll probably face each other again potentially in a divisional or conference matchup. So still a long way to go in the NFL, but hey, we're the Bears. Chicago Bears are just happy to be part of the conversation, and we've learned to be humble over our years, because for Bears to be winning close games in the fourth quarter, pinch me, this is an exciting season, much more exciting than we anticipated, especially at the beginning. They could have went like last year, but hey, here we're in Lincoln Park, Chicago, Illinois. We're by the South Pond. Here we're heading to work. We're south of Lincoln Park Zoo. See, there's Cafe Briar. We got some snow that we got on Saturday. Might get some more snow tonight to make the holiday lights look good on Michigan Avenue. And we'll head to the Kris Kringle, see what the ice skating looks like with the snow. Finland, yeah. Pat Schooley, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Good morning. Yeah, out walking the dog here. We're by the nature boardwalk, South Pond. Yeah, Jennifer was looking for beavers here last night. I don't think she found any, but same way, I haven't seen them in over a year, or at least I think earlier this spring we saw them. That was the last time. See, the ducks are now resting on the ice. The ice is strong enough to support a duck, which are pretty light. There's where the cows live, the Lincoln Park Farm and the Zoo here in Chicago. There's a view to Skyline, Chicago. Ebony, congratulations there. Here in the Steelers country, yeah. Yeah, my Steelers fans and my Bengals fans are in the dumps there. Bears beat Pittsburgh and then they beat the Eagles. I'm not used to Bears beating all these teams. Yeah, you had to ruin my morning by bringing up the president that starts with the T there. Yeah, I know. I think that was probably your intention. If you watch long enough, I walk down Michigan Avenue. We will go by the Trump Tower, and so you can do your patriotic salute there as we head past the Trump Tower. But that'll be 45 minutes from now. So hopefully you can watch and see some of the rest of Chicago here. And we're up by the South Pond. There's the Ulysses S. Grant statue. He's President of the United States, commanding victorious general of the U.S. Civil War there. Of course, his presidency was plagued by scandal. That's a different story. Here's the geese on the South Pond. Look at all the geese. Hey, see how this lines up right with the John Hancock Genie Gang did this with the Gang Studio Associates. They designed this. So they got that, see the Ferris wheel behind the Peggy Notebart. No, that's wrong. The Genie Gang Pavilion there. Peggy Notebart's the Nature Museum north of here. All my Freudian slips here. Here's, yeah, the farm and the zoo. These were the pigs and the horses and the ponies. The little ponies. We saw some ponies in the Thanksgiving parade. I cut that out. Nice little furry ponies with the little bellies. There were some donkeys in there too. They marched in the Thanksgiving parade. I'm sure they were like, yeah, well, great, we're walking through this bunch of humans here. We got to walk down the street. What are we doing here? But hey, that was nice. Yeah, it was a nice parade. Thanks everybody tuning in for the Thanksgiving parade. It was the first time I saw it in person. Like I said, live streaming motivates me to go to a lot of these things that I would never get off the couch to see myself. And it was nice to see those balloons go under the elevated CTA tracks. If you watch J City Walking Girls channel, she's got a nice video where the turkey, the tom turkey that starts the parade there, they fold in the head so the head can go under the L tracks, and she's got a good video of it. See, we saw the turkey, but I didn't see it go under the L tracks. I was further up the parade route, and then we got closer to it by the time the Jojo got there. But hey, let's head through the snow here. South Pond, Chicago, Illinois, 20 degrees Fahrenheit. We're -5 degrees Celsius, -5 Celsius. Below freezing temperatures here, Chicago, Illinois. We got Monday, December the 1st. Happy December here. So we got snow. We'll head right towards that John Hancock. And walk through the Gold Coast. Wes, Shauna's tuning in there. Aisha, yeah. Robert, thanks Shauna for being on there, yeah. So Shauna, yeah, you got some snow out there in the western burbs. Some people in Wisconsin, Indiana said they got more. We got about 4 to 6 inches here, that's what I'm saying. It looks taller because it did kind of, you know, where they plow it and it drifted a little bit. We're going to get maybe 2 to 4 more inches tonight. We'll see if that develops. Yeah, flowers to the mods there. Thanks, Phil. Yeah. 9.8 inches. You got 9.8 inches? Wow, you got more out there by Aurora. That's great. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, maybe we got 6 inches here. I don't even remember what 6 inches looks like. We haven't gotten, that's why I said people said we're getting a lot more snow than we usually get this time of the year. But, if it's going to be cold, I'd rather there be snow on the ground. Makes everything look pretty, especially for the holidays. Like I said, December in Chicago, this isn't bad because it makes everything look, there's somebody sleeping in a tent. We'll pass people under the bridge. You're probably sleeping in tents even out in the snow here. Oh, the Cocos. Yeah, I wonder how the Cocos are doing. That's a good question. So this will be the first time we get to witness the Cocos trying to navigate in the storms. That's interesting because it seems to me the time you would want to use a Coco, if you're so inclined to use a Coco, or the competitor, the other ones that are named different things. You know, it's snowing, it's -20, and you want to get some baby formula or something. So you call the Coco and you say, deliver me some baby formula. I'm at this address, and you're in the city. And there's the Coco out there slipping and sliding in the snow, delivering your baby formula. Hey, there's somebody cross-country skiing. The whole time somebody's cross-country skiing and I'm yapping here. This is what we want to see. A lot of times when we get in the future, Brian, really Chicago, I need to invest in some Nordic skis there, and we can do some cross-country skiing in the wintertime, the way to extend our season here. So, hey, cross-country skiing through Lincoln Park. Yeah. Very nice. Hey, she's turning around there. Heading up there. You're going to go the other way. That's a good workout there, just like your Nordic Track. That's why they would sell the Nordic Track exercise machine. It simulates workout, full body workout. Cross-country skiing there. See, she's going uphill. But hey, Lincoln Park, Chicago, Illinois. We're just checking out the people enjoying the snow here. Yeah, we'll get to the sled riders. Usually there's a sled hill, Oglesby Hill. People even sled down this little hill. Jennifer was looking for that yesterday. There she goes. Cross-country skiing there, heading through the park. Yeah, look at that. Very nice. Isn't that peaceful there? Just cross-country ski through the park on a winter day here. California dreaming on such a winter's day here, Chicago, Illinois. Now I'm going to head downtown. I thought about working from home. I could have worked from home today because it's a snow day. There's probably going to be hardly anybody in the office. I'm the weirdo. I'm the old dad, even though I don't have kids, that goes into the office when there's nobody there. And me and the 2 other people in the office, we rant and rave and complain about everything, and then we call it a day. So you know, man, we just sit there and complain all day. It's like my dad used to work at the steel production plant there. He was a industrial electrician. He was in the union there, and they would go there, and those guys couldn't stand each other, but they were in the union, and so all day long they had to fight over who controlled the radio station dial, and you know, they were sitting in the room there, who got to sit in air conditioning and who had to go out on the shop floor, and you know, it's very interesting. And they would talk politics too. Here's the Ben Franklin statue. So here, I'll go quiet. We'll go underneath the LaSalle Street overpass here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. 20 degrees, 721 Chicago, Illinois. We're heading to work. Lincoln Park, Chicago. So hey, Lincoln Park, playing in the snow, heading to work here. We got 7:22 a.m. Chicago, Illinois. We just went underneath the LaSalle Street pedestrian underpass. Hey, thanks for shout out to Ben Franklin there. Yeah, it's sad. I know it's hard. The brutal realities of living in the city. Here we are, after all of us celebrating a nice Thanksgiving meal, and you know, some of it's a lifestyle choice. There are people camped out under the Stout Street Bridge. We see people living in Lincoln Park in winter climates throughout the winter, unhoused people, homeless people underneath Wacker Drive. I've encountered some that show me their frostbite, but a lot of them have cell phones. It's different, you know. Cell phone becomes the most important thing. I guess I don't know how they keep it charged and keep a plan, but like, where does the bill come? I know it's but you know, it's life in the modern age. It's interesting. So hey, here's Abraham Lincoln. You know, I think about that. Like, oh, sorry, go. That's great. Yeah, she's walking by me. I think about that sometimes. You know, if I lost my job, you know, could I live out of a car and just take this show on the road if I had to? You know, other people have tried it too. It's easier said than done. People, this was like a Christian outreach ministry, I think, and TikTok is cracking down on their creator fund. And this was the same thing. I think they were living out of their RV. They were living the dream there. They were making like $800 to $1,500 a month. Not enough to get rich, but enough to cover their eating expenses and things like that while they were traveling, doing the Christian ministry on TikTok. You know, creator fund there. And they got kicked out of the creator fund over Thanksgiving. Thousands of creators got kicked out of the creator fund because they're enacting this draconian terms and conditions. The reason I went to YouTube a long time ago, it's finally kicking in now. And then, so they said, you know, we relied on that income. Now, how do we plan? Again, how do you, as a, you know, they want everybody to do TikTok shop and be a business associate with TikTok. How do you have a business relationship with a business that's constantly changing the terms and conditions all the time? And it always is in the favor of the corporation and against the creators. Whereas creators are constantly being cut out. And so is TikTok, if you're a creator, why are you going to stay on this platform? And then if you're a viewer of this stuff, you're going to have to watch these creators go to YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, you know, all these other competing platforms, not because we want to, because TikTok is a bad business partner. Yes, I said it, and I can say it because we're on YouTube. I want them to be a better business partner. I don't understand why they would treat their creators so bad, you know. And you know, it shows you they're it's all about advertising. It's just, you know, it's always ever been about. But here we'll cross North Ave, and it's enough of me complaining about things I can't control anyway. Billionaires are going to do what billionaires do. They're going to buy up each other's company, and they're going to squeeze the rest of us. And now you think they've got to be billionaires. Here's Dearborn Street. We'll head down Dearborn Street. Yeah, a lot of people were asking about Fred. They thought about Fred with all the snow. Every time we get snow, Fred's like, yeah, you got to shovel the snow. Sometimes he pays other people to do it. Sometimes he does it himself. He's semi-retired. He's the engineer for this building. Hot in here. Here's Dearborn Street. Thanks for tuning in, Chicago, Illinois. We're checking out the snow. Isha, Chris, Shauna. Yeah, they ruined TikTok. But I haven't totally given up. You see, I haven't deleted my TikTok account. I still post reruns there, even though I don't make any money off the reruns. People often ask me, they said, oh, we don't see you go live anymore on TikTok. I said, I go live 3 times a day, 5 days a week on YouTube. You have no excuse not to watch me on YouTube. You can watch for free. I know you might not like YouTube, but you know, I still post reruns to TikTok. I don't understand what people want from me. It's just, you know, they want to stay on TikTok because it's convenient. You know, it's convenient for the viewer, but it's not convenient for the creator. Here they're dropping off. See, school, here's the Latin school. They're dropping off kids for the school. If you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're heading to the Gold Coast. We got a winter wonderland here, about 20 degrees in Chicago. And we had about 6 inches of snow over the weekend. We're supposed to get 2 to 4 inches tonight in Chicagoland area. We're on Dearborn Street here. 1500 block, the nice curved staircases. All the flowers are gone. Yeah, Fred, the sidewalks are all shoveled here. It looks nice. There's the Dearborn Street, the nice brownstones across the way. Beautiful housing here, Dearborn Street. Gold Coast, Chicago. Yeah, look at that. Nice garland up the curving staircase. Here it is, the hot in there. See, Fred's hopefully enjoying a day off here. the snow hit 2 days after Thanksgiving. There's always something going on. But here, Dearborn Street. Yeah, I posted that rerun from last week. We ran into Fred. Had a nice chat there. I'm glad he's doing well. Yeah, the staircase is pretty scary, especially in the snow and ice. Yeah, you want to go down that staircase in wintertime? I know. It gets slippery. Hey, there's the giraffe. There's the giraffe with snow. The giraffe's got snow on its head. Very nice. Yeah, you want to ride these scooters in the snow? I bet the ridership for scooters goes way down in the wintertime. Say, yeah, it's awesome. I was driving this two-wheeled scooter through the snow. I lost control. Yeah, we were missing Grandma last night. Kelly Quinn, how you doing there? Yeah, all the houses look very Christmassy. That's why I said the snow's great in December. Makes everything look festive and holiday-like with the lights. Yeah, for the next 3 weeks, we'll be on a mission to check out Christmas decorations. We'll do it in the Gold Coast, in Old Town, but even Lincoln Park, maybe into Lakeview. I still want to get up to Gallagher Way. They have a Christ Kindle market, but at lunchtime today we might get in. We'll try to get into Christ Kindle at Daily Plaza because hopefully it'll be less crowded today since we're getting snow tonight, and I'm betting that less people will be downtown today because it's the Monday after Thanksgiving. Most people are still nursing the hangover. Hey, so here, St. Chrysostom's, yeah, the beautiful housing here on Dearborn Street. Nice snow here, people going to school. Yeah, we're not identical, but yeah, a lot of times people confuse when I'm streaming here. They said, "Is this New York?" I don't often see people when I watch the New York live streamers. Not many people confuse New York for Chicago, but it's mainly just the big buildings when we get downtown. We are a big city, not as big as New York. New York's like 4 times as large as Chicago. LA is like twice as large as Chicago. Chicago's pretty large though. And Chicago seems larger because it has a larger central business district than Los Angeles. Los Angeles has a lot of high-rise buildings, but they're all spread out, mainly along Wilshire. And they do have a downtown, but not as concentrated as Chicago. Chicago is very concentrated, dense downtown. And it's the only thing that rivals the density of Manhattan there. Still doesn't surpass it, no way. New York's the real deal, the Big Apple. Chicago will always be the second city, at least maybe the third or fourth city. Yeah, I stream in Houston too. Houston's lapping at Chicago's heels as far as population wise, but Houston's so spread out. Houston's like a giant suburb. And Dallas, Fort Worth, the same thing. Dallas has, you know, nice downtown, so does Houston, but it's not as, it doesn't compare. There's not the amount of people living downtown as we have in Chicago and New York. People actually live in the center of the city, which makes it so expensive. Just like this area, the Gold Coast, we're walking through Chicago, Illinois. You got 7:31, 21 degrees. Hey, look at a nice holiday scene here with the snow. Makes my job easy. Look, they got, yeah, so tonight we'll do the lights on Michigan Ave. Hey, they got the nutcrackers here shoveling the snow. Beautiful holiday lights here. Yeah, it's a winter wonderland here on Dearborn Street. Yeah, Chris, did you take a walk with Maddie into the park there yesterday? It was nice. The sun came out, but not too long. The sun came out just for briefly. We caught some images, and it went back behind the clouds. A gloomy Chicago winter. You just had your first day of summer? You must be tuning in from down under there. Yeah, thanks. You know, yeah, you're heading into the summer, either South America or Australia or New Zealand. Yeah, we're heading into winter here. Welcome to winter. But later this month, I'm planning to take a trip to Texas and get down to Texas. Hey, we got some wreaths. Yeah, Australia, good. You're in Florida. Born in Michigan, yeah. I see. You know how to. You know, Florida's great. Yeah, I like going to Florida, especially in the wintertime, to get out of this cold weather. Positive, negatives, everything. We get the cold, long winter. See Chicago in there. That's how you dress for this 20-degree weather. It's great. We often see people jogging in shorts by the lakefront. 20-degree weather. It's just a mentality. You get into it. It's like taking an ice bath. You just have to jump in, and then you get used to it. You turn blue. Yeah, Australia. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Yeah, we got a lot of people from Australia, New Zealand, tuning in. South Africa, South America, Argentina and Brazil, Chile, even Pacific Islands. Somebody from Fiji tuned in one day. I was very happy for that. And still trying to get Easter Island. I'm gonna get in that Easter Island market. But here's Dearborn Street. You ever watch the true story about the mutiny on the Bounty? Of course, I found it fascinating because, you know, I'm into genealogy and stuff, and especially mestizo in North and South America and Pacific Islander cultures. This happened in Hawaii as well, where in Alaska, the initial wave of European frontiersmen, trappers, settlers got to the tip of the spear there as far as the expanding Western civilization, so-called civilization as Gandhi would put it, on the Western Hemisphere there. And those first round of men would often take indigenous wives, and so this initial round of American, Hawaiian, and Alaskan, this includes Todd Palin, the husband of Sarah Palin. His great-grandmother was a Inuit, and his great-grandfather married into that to get, you know, with the initial, I don't know if they went up there for the gold rush or why they went up there. And that happened in if you watch the Mutiny on the Bounty, of course, there's the older movie and the newer. It's based on a book, and it's a real thing that really happened. There was really a mutiny on the Bounty. It was after the Captain Cook exploration period. He had already died, and they were circumnavigating the Pacific and trying to get the breadfruit. They were trying to get a native plant species to export to get out of the tropical and corner a market on breadfruit, and they take it from the Tahitians. They went to Tahiti there in the South Pacific Ocean. Of course, you got a bunch of drunken sailors trapped on a boat with a bunch of other men for years, literally circumnavigating the globe. You get to the Tahitian Islands, topless women. Naturally, they're not inhibitions were different because of cultural differences. and these men went nuts, and there was a bunch of procreation that happened in the middle of the late of the 18th century, 1700s, middle Pacific. And that's what led to, my mind, that's what led to the mutiny. It was the guy there, played by Mel Gibson, Christian, whatever his name was, he didn't want to leave his Tahitian wife, Tahiti wife. And so as they were leaving, they did a mutiny on the Bounty, and they mutinied the ship, and they went back, and some of the guys stayed. They put the other guys on the boat, set them adrift. They were going to die. Somehow they made it to South America. But the ones that stayed, the ones that took the wives, they knew they were going to go back and look for them, and they got to try to try them for mutiny. So they knew they had to leave Tahiti, so they went in search of another island. They went towards Easter Island, the Pitcairn Islands, way out there in the middle of the South Pacific between Tahiti and South America. And they brought their children with them. And still to this day, there are people that, I believe them, that are descended from the offspring of the Mutiny and the Bounty and the Tahitians on this island out here by Easter Island. Isn't that amazing? And history is real, you know. It led to new people being created, new lands. And that's the thing about the original people, the original indigenous people, the first couple to make it to a new uninhabited land, you know, and where they came from and migrated from somewhere else thousands of years ago, you know. And here we'll cross Division Street, Dearborn and Division. Because the Hawaiian Islands, you know, the Pacific Islanders discovered those, you know, a few thousand years ago and traveled there. They found it and became isolated. Same with Iceland. Iceland became, you know, the Vikings were in Greenland and even North America briefly over 1,000 years ago, and then some of the descendants of the Vikings got marooned on Iceland, or are the people that live on Iceland now are descended from those people, and they got separated, and they became, for a brief period, for hundreds of years, they were completely independent of Scandinavia and had their own government, and, you know, they got their own origin story. Isn't that amazing? So Bjork, there you go. Mayor shenanigans. Yeah, we'll get into Bush McGuire's. I want to show the ceiling there. We're over by the Hopsmith and the lodge here. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out Chicago in the snow here. We got 7:39. We're heading to work here on a Monday. Yeah, there's Mother's. There's Mother's over there. You can go to Mother's, the piano bar. Germany's tuning in there, yeah. Hey, thanks, Christy. Yeah, thanks for listening to my history asides here. Driving to work, yeah. Monday nights, yeah. Book reading, hey, Kelly Quinn. So here we're at, this is State Street and Division here. We'll head around here. Yeah, let's cross the street, why not? So State Street, we'll be checking those out later for Christmas decorations. Nah, it looks festive. Wait till we see it tonight. We'll go up Michigan Avenue with all the lights on there. We'll go to the Christ Grindle Market. Well, I'm gonna attempt to go to the Christ Grindle Market there at lunchtime. We'll see if we can make it in. No guarantees. Here's the State Street subway underneath us, the red line. Where you get your tea. Story you could tell that no one would believe. Yeah, thanks Grandma's Corner there. Thanks for being on. Vitamin formula. Yeah, the Gold Coast. There you go. Yeah, that's a nice place. Location, location, location. Elm Street and State. Elm and State. Well, not too many people out on a Monday as expected here in Chicago. We're heading to work here, 7:40, 20 degrees. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this content. Helps more people find this. If you like snow, if you like Christmas time. December 1st. I don't even know if they've lit the official Christmas tree in New York. They do that later. We do it so early in Chicago. Man, I think they actually wait till like December 5th or something in New York, like you're supposed to. There, Yoko Ono, Music of the Mind, MCA there. 2 blocks. Hey, there you go. Thanks for being born in Chicago. There you go, Lil Malnati's. Doc Martin's here. Yeah, you know where we're at here, State Street, right where Rush Street breaks off. Got some slushy snow here. I'll have to tie my shoe. We'll wait till we get to a stopping point here. I'll have to tie my shoe again. The same one I tied earlier. Those laces are, they're all got dry rot. They won't stay tied. But hey, Lou Malnati's, get your Chicago style pizza. Hey, everybody have a good Thanksgiving there. Yeah, double tap there. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for admonishing people there. Hit the thumbs up here. We got people tuning in here on a Monday morning. Man, get away with the disco balls there. Wind trust. There's a nice view. Chicago Skyline. There's the John Hancock, the 900 North Michigan, Bloomingdale's Mall. We were there 2 weeks ago. Time flies. Here, we'll head through here. Wind trust. Yeah, this is open here, so they got a bank. This used to be a Vans sneaker store, but now it's a bank. You got On Cloud here. Here's the Mariana Park. This is called Chicago, Illinois, United States of America. How you doing here in Chicago, United States? We're not as big as New York, but we're not as small as your suburb. Yeah, so John Hancock was an insurance company, or is it still, is John Hancock still an insurance company in Boston? I think there's a John Hancock building in Boston. They sell insurance. So a lot of the big buildings in Chicago are now named after insurance, and it was even back when that building was built, 1969. John Hancock Insurance Company was the company that had financed it and had it corporate headquarters there. It was never completely offices. Most of John Hancock is housing. Most of the offices are near the bottom, and there's a parking garage within the building as well. But now it's just called 875 North Michigan because I don't know. I think the John Hancock's not the primary tenant anymore. And so we also have Blue Cross Blue Shield in Chicago. We have Prudential. Two skyscrapers of Prudential right next to each other, and we got Aon. Aon is insurance. You know what else is insurance? Willis. The name of the Sears Tower, the Willis Tower. Willis is insurance. It took me years to figure it out. I was like, what's Willis? Why is everybody called us Willis? What's Willis do? They sell insurance. And so Willis actually got bought out by Aon. So I was like, are they going to call it Aon too? Here, this is Alice and Olivia. Hey, they got some nice, yeah. Everybody likes these little, I know they got a name, I don't even know what they're called. I call them the little Furby things. I know they're not Furbies. Here we got some nice Christmas tree here. We're down by Oak and Rush here. Hey, get your ski gear. Glory. Yeah, stinky Chicago with snow. Even the snow stinks. Watch out for the yellow snow. Don't eat the yellow snow here in Chicago. Here, Prada. Devil Wears Prada, Oak Street. Here's Cartier. Yeah, it stinks so bad. We got all these high-end shops. No one can afford to shop here. Hey, Oak Street's looking nice. They got all the bows. That's where we saw the Christmas parade there. We were right there by the Esquire Theater. Oak Street, go down to Bravco Beauty there. Talk to Michael. He'll set you up. Air Maze. Yeah, snow's piled up there on Oak Street. We're heading towards the water tower. Yeah, La Boo-Boos. Oh, that's what they're called? Thanks, one golden newbie. They're called La Boo-Boos. So I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't, you know, I see these things everywhere. I guess they're the new Cabbage Patch dolls. Everybody wants a Boo for the Christmas tree ornament there. Illinois, you like it? So hey, we got 7:46 Chicago time, Central Time Zone in North America. 7:46 a.m. Chicago time. What time is it where you're at there? If you're tuning in from a different time zone, that's great. There's Fresh Street. Yeah, Mexico, Viva Mexico. Yeah, Lorraine, how you doing there? Yeah, Lambie T, Robin. So some of them, okay, most of these buildings are mixed use. So let me give you an example. See this building here? See how it says Waldorf Astoria on it? The bottom is storefronts. Then there's maybe a parking garage. I think there's 2 levels there with the spandrel glass. But then see this bottom part is the hotel and the top is condos. So people live in the top of this building. There's a hotel. People live on the other side. People live in that building. That one's offices. People live in that building. This is the 900 North Michigan building. It's a hotel. People live in those buildings. This is the Gold Coast. Yeah, a lot of see the Trump Tower. That's the back of the Trump Tower. So the top part, let me zoom in a little bit, get past this tree and the sign. So the top part is housing. The bottom part's a hotel. There's parking, and there is some office and commercial. So a lot of these buildings are mixed use, but a lot of them are hotels around here. A lot of them are housing. This is housing, and they got storefronts. This is a giant parking garage. So see where that car went in, 900. So it's a 10 to 12 story parking garage. Maybe it's just 10 stories for the Bloomingdale's Mall. Here it is. So here I'm going to tie my shoe here. So we're going to set down the camera so you can get this great view of the Chicago skyline, and then I'm going to tie my shoe right there. The woman was like, what is this guy doing? Grown man out here dancing in front of the camera. Who do I think I am? Hey, thanks for letting me tie my shoe there. Yeah, 7:48. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to get to work by 8. We'll be fashionably late today, the Monday after Thanksgiving. Yeah, if you're going to be fashionably late, do it the day after or the first day back to work after Thanksgiving. So here's the John Hancock. So there's parking, offices, housing. John Hancock, no hotel. But this has a hotel. This has the Four Seasons, and then it has housing above. This is all a hotel. It's called a Sofitel. That's housing there. This curved building, that's senior living. You see, a lot of these buildings, this is housing. All to the left, they got parking garages. Always people coming out of the parking garage here. I work for an architecture engineering firm, so that's why I live in Chicago. I went to University of Cincinnati for city planning. That was my degree, and worked with architects, engineers, civil engineers, landscape architects, interior designers. I've worked in the industry for 30 years now. I've lived in Chicago for, we're going to start saying this is my 27th winter in Chicago. So been here since 1999, living. Would travel to Chicago in the 90s. I came here many times in the 1990s when I was living in Cincinnati. A lot of my friends went to New York and San Francisco, California. I stayed in the Midwest. My mom eventually got cancer, so I wanted to be close to her. Here's the John Hancock there. This is looking down Chestnut. Mike Dicka has a restaurant down there. We were talking about it last week. We showed you the drawing in the cement. There, honorary Mike Dick away there, Chestnut and Rush here. We're headed by the Quigley Center. There's statue to Quigley. See, they got so much salt on here. It's actually, salt's actually working at 20 degrees. That's amazing. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Robert, and everybody else there. So the John Hancock is 100 stories tall. The observation deck is on the 94th. Same thing with the Sears Tower. Sears Tower is 110 stories. Observation deck's on the 103rd. They don't put it on the top because there's usually equipment and other things in the topmost floors. You can get, I've gotten up to the 96th floor. Signature Lounge used to be on the 96th. They closed that. 95th used to be the restaurant. Hopefully that'll get going again. But not in the wintertime. There's no chance of them opening that in the wintertime. Not enough tourism in the winter. Well, hey, we got reruns from up there. You can check it out. It's pretty popular. Almost got 10,000 likes. 100,000s of views. Hey, they're still shoveling. They're chiseling off the sidewalk in front of the seminary here. See, it still gets a little wet here. We'll head into downtown Chicago. Lunchtime, we'll try to get to the Christ Kindle Market. Maybe it won't be so crowded today. This is Chicago. This is Pearson Street and Rush. We're going to head over to the Water Tower, Chicago. And Chipotle. Loyola University has this building. There's the John Hancock. There it is. This is housing in this building. I guess I should point out the uses of these buildings. Yeah, unfortunately we don't have many heated sidewalks, but I think Holland, Michigan has heated sidewalks in their downtown. There's some other areas like that get a lot of lake effect snow. So in the wintertime, they literally have, I guess, heated bars in the sidewalk. I don't know if it's water or no, it probably wouldn't be water, but whatever it is, they heat the sidewalks and it melts the snow, so you don't have to shovel the snow, because they get feet of snow over and over again all winter, and it makes sense for them to have it. But that would be nice to have heated sidewalks. Yeah, here's the you can see it around the subway grates and stuff. It'll melt the snow. Here's the Water Tower, Chicago. Survived the 1871 Great Chicago Fire, built in 1869 here. Hey, here's the Christmas tree. So here's the Christmas tree for the Water Tower place here. Look at that. We'll get to see this at night. We'll walk by here tonight as we head up Michigan Avenue, and we'll reverse this at night and see the Michigan Avenue lights and the Water Tower all lit up. There's the John Hancock. Yeah, we got the light here, so you see the light still on here. We'll cross Chicago Avenue. Yeah, the Water Tower looks nice in the snow. Yeah, so we get the postcard shots. That's why I could have worked from home today. I said, we got to go downtown. We got to check out the lights. We got to see if we get to the Christ Kindle Market there. And ice skating. I tried to film the ice skating on Thanksgiving, but it looked like the rink was closed. Thankfully, the city didn't have the people for the park district working on Thanksgiving, which was nice. I thought about it. Didn't have to have somebody there renting skates. But we'll head right down Michigan Avenue here. And the lights are still on even in the morning area. They look better at night, but here at Ralph Lauren, we just crossed Chicago Avenue, Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. We got 20 degrees, 7:54 in the a.m. Heading to work here on the Monday after Thanksgiving. We got about 6 inches of snow on Saturday, a little bit more yesterday. Supposed to get 2 to 4 inches tonight. Today's November the 1st, 2025, 7:55 in the a.m. 20 degrees Fahrenheit, -5 Celsius, Chicago, Illinois. There's the Neiman Marcus with the Eiffel Tower. But we'll head back tonight after work, after 5 o'clock. We'll head up Michigan Avenue, check out the lights, do your shopping. Isn't it amazing that, all this talk, like I was like, people could boycott Black Friday and you could boycott today, Cyber Monday, not buy anything. We're breaking all the records. you know, the most amount spent, most stuff bought for Christmas on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Stock market's at all-time highs. Everybody complains about inflation, but no one shops like there's inflation. We shop like there's no tomorrow. We got to max out that credit card, max out the national debt, and max out the tariffs and everything. Here's Saks Fifth Avenue. Yeah, we'll stay on this side. We'll go past the Harry Potter store. But here, thanks for tuning in Chicago. Here, we're checking out the pretty holiday lights. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? I'm missing out on all these profits. We could profit off of the holidays here. Sell some stuff on TikTok Shop.
3 on, 2 off, 3 on, 1 off.
Your stories and lights. Hey, it was great to see Vic Cohen. Vic Cohen was live streaming on Saturday. He had a lot of people watching, which was great, and he was showing the lights in the snow along Michigan Avenue and the Riverwalk. I'm like, I want Vic Cohen to bring back the kiss cam. He would show people smooching, kissing, holding hands. He'll be back at Valentine's Day, I'm sure. Vic Cohen, the original OG live streamer of Chicago, even before I was streaming. Now we got a whole galaxy of live streamers. There's the, which is great. I think that's awesome. And support all my Chicago live streamers here, whatever platform they're on. Here's the Omni Hotel. Yeah, we'll head across Erie. No, this is Huron Street. Huron Street, Michigan Avenue. Here we'll head to the Harry Potter. Yeah, get your butterbeer, Harry Potter store. This is one of the 3 Harry Potter stores that I know of. The other ones in New York and London. There you get your Harry Potter, Chicago. Yeah, you got the Patronus Stag here. Looks nice in the snow. Harry Potter's spirit animal. They took the candles down. I guess they were blowing around too much. They got the phone booth there. There's the Harry Potter, Chicago. Yeah, Michigan Avenue at Huron. Yeah, they got the window displays. They got the nice London telephone booth there. You can call Harry Potter. There's the Nike Town and Converse store across the way. Mango, mango. There's the Pigeon. Yeah, please subscribe there. Thanks, Grandma's Corner there. Hit the like button there. Michigan Avenue. Yeah, after coffee. Beauty of the city. That's good. Made it to work. That's good. Kelly Quinn. Yeah, shop windows. Yeah, it was a cold bike ride on Thursday after the parade there. I hopped on a bike and ran up the lakeshore. But it wasn't too bad. The sun was coming out on Thursday. Had a nice Thanksgiving meal there. I just cooked it myself. Made turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes. I bought some Hawaiian rolls to go with it. Salad and green beans. And I'm not big with cranberries. I never really ate the cranberries, but I didn't do any pumpkin pie. I just went with the ice cream, as people know. But we had a nice Thanksgiving meal there. Here's the giant Starbucks. I didn't even point it out. Here's the giant Starbucks. Here are the 4 stories. Starbucks Reserve Roastery here right on Michigan Ave. It's already open. They got swag, and it opens now at 6:30. There, the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. There's the baristas in there. People checking out the stuff. But hey, we'll see what downtown looks like with the snow. Lunchtime, we'll check out the ice skating, and we'll see if we can get in. No promises. Last 2 times I tried to get in the Christkindle Market, there were lines around the block, but I think today it might be less crowded. That's what we're hoping. Here we'll cross the street. And, yeah, cool city. Chicago's a cold city, but it can be cool. At least in wintertime. Here, let's cross Michigan Avenue here. There's Michigan Avenue looking north. See, we'll get to see all these lights at night. Once we get out of work, it'll already be dark. Here, we'll cross here. This is Ontario and Michigan. South Korea hasn't snowed yet? Wow, thanks for tuning in from South Korea. That's great. How you doing? Yeah. It's only 10 degrees. Only 10 degrees. TV dinner, there you go. There's nothing wrong with that, Kelly. Yeah, it's just another day. Thanksgiving. Yeah, there's not many people commuting downtown. It's a Monday. That's why I'm hoping the Christ Kindle Market won't be as packed today. It's the Monday after Thanksgiving. It's not that busy. Trust me, there'll be more people out in the evening time. In the morning, it's always like this. Even in the summertime, it's not as crowded. Hey, you got some nice holiday displays here. North Face. So let's get across the street. This is Ohio Street. Where the Cloris Mexicanos used to be on Michigan Avenue, the North Face is moving there. So I think the North Face is moving south. This accelerates the trend. The North Face is now at the bottom of the John Hancock. All the commercial space in the John Hancock will be empty, or at least at that level. Not in the sunken Plaza. There's the Cheesecake Factory and Benihana's still there, but there was a Best Buy on one side and it's been gone for years. And that North Face is not leaving Michigan Avenue, it's just moving further south. Most of Michigan Avenue's moved further south towards Millennium Park. It's interesting. And cities change over time. There's always in a state of flux. So we'll find, eventually there'll be some new, we got to find some new commercial uses for the Water Tower, the John Hancock. I'm thinking like nightclubs. We should make that an entertainment vice district. They should have put the casino at the bottom of the John Hancock. It would have made more sense. But timing wasn't right. Think about that. They could have made the observation deck like a VIP lounge for the casino. That would be nice. Not that we need everything to be a casino. We got too many casinos as it is, in my opinion. But hey, welcome to Chicago. Here we're heading down Michigan Avenue. We got 20 degrees Fahrenheit, -5 Celsius. We got 8:03 in the AM. I'm late to work, but I really don't have to be working until 9 o'clock. I got a good excuse today. Yeah, we don't need that kind of traffic down there. Yeah, I know. See, positive, negatives, everything. I know. It's not in my backyard. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, there's Nordstrom. There's Nordstrom. Hey, you know right where we're at here. Thanks for tuning in, following along here. We're on Michigan Avenue, across from the Gwynn Hotel. The Nordstrom's there. Yeah, the Intercontinental Hotel. We'll go by Michael Jordan's restaurant, right across the Chicago River. Thanks for tuning in. If you just joined, we're in Chicago here. We had some snow over the weekend. We're supposed to get 2 to 4 more inches tonight. It's making everything look nice and festive. So I'm heading to work here. I work for an architecture engineering firm. It's Monday morning. We got 8:03 in the AM. I'm almost to work. We'll walk across the river here. I'm not done streaming yet, but we do this Mondays through Fridays. Usually I stream my walk to work. Here's Michael Jordan's restaurant, steakhouse, Casa Shy, and then we reverse it at night. This time of year it's nice because we can film the holiday lights on Michigan Avenue and Oak Street and check out Christmas lights. And at lunchtime we go to the Christ Kindle Market and we do the ice skating at Millennium Park. There's the ice skating rink in Maggie Daly and Millennium Park. So it's just, I'm fortunate where I work because I work right downtown. I'm near a lot of tourist things, and so you know that makes it easy. I'm a lazy live streamer. I know people want to see all sides of the city. We do go to other neighborhoods, just not as often as people would like. But we got a bunch of Chicago live streamers from all over the city. So I'm sure there's even people on 4700 southbound. They do on Instagram. They go all over the south and west sides and film housing from their car that a lot of people don't cover. And it's great, beautiful housing all over the city. I'm glad they do it. And you can follow Malik, the firefighter. You can follow 77 Flares Chicago, who does go to all 77 neighborhoods, covers this city much better than I do. And I'm happy to promote any other content creators, live streamers. Don't call me an influencer though. I wouldn't want to influence myself. Here's think for yourself. Here's Tribune Tower. Hey, they put some garland around the Lange Sonne. It's this German watch company. I'm sure I'm not saying it right. Hey, they set up this secret Santa secret tent. Maybe we'll check this out at lunchtime one of the days this week, see what's in here, if this is open. I think it's just going to be a pop-up shop indoors. People to be like a farmer's market indoors. But look at all the snow piled up here. This is Pioneer Plaza across from the Wrigley building. So here's the Wrigley building, Chicago, Illinois. We got December. How you doing? Yeah, I'm Brian Riley, Chicago. How you doing? What you asked me for?
No, I was asking who you were.
Yeah, how you doing? Wait, what's your name?
Jose.
Jose, thanks for saying hello here. Yeah, I'm just heading to work here, so.
Me too.
Good, hey, that's good. Nice. Look at all the snow.
I know, man, it's beautiful.
Thanks for saying hello. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. It's good. Hey, Jose, very nice. Good. So, yeah, friends and neighbors here. There's the Jack Brick House. I probably got snot all over my mustache here. He's probably why you looked at me like. When I walk in the wintertime, my appearance can get really strange. I look like a Nordic explorer. Sometimes there'll be like icicles from my mustache. But here, thanks for saying hello, friends and neighbors there. Part of our local Chicago community here, Santa's Secret. So I guess they'll open this up. Here's the Christmas tree. There's the, yeah, that's how I would bump into Ernesto Chicago Nuggies. He would work on Michigan Avenue and we would just cross paths. And look at Ernie now, he's a live streamer in Chicago trying to grow his YouTube. Please follow Ernesto Chicago Nuggies on YouTube. It's really hard to get traction on YouTube. We need to get him over 1,000 so he can monetize his YouTube. It took me a long time to get over 1,000 on YouTube. Remember the Lunch Bunch, I would be streaming in landscape. It took us like a year or 6 months. That's why I told Darren Monroe it's gonna take. YouTube is a strange beast. You have to just keep posting and posting and posting. And even if your content's good, YouTube makes you pay your dues. And thanks to everybody that supports us on YouTube, make this possible so we can stream here on YouTube. It's really hard. TikTok's great. We streamed on TikTok this weekend a little bit still. Here, Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable there. There's the snow. I wonder what he would think. Imagine the winters back in those days when the Potawatomi were here. You think you got it tough now? The Potawatomi would live through the winters. They live in like the wigwams, the longhouses, like the Iroquois, you know. And there's the Wrigley building. There's the Trump Tower. See, someone was asking about the Trump Tower. There's the Trump Tower here, downtown Chicago. We're crossing the DuSable Michigan Avenue Bridge, heading to work here on a Monday. 8:08. I better get to work here. Hey, look at this plane. We always see these planes coming in. These tall buildings here. I hope everybody made it back there. I think there was like 800 flights canceled yesterday at O'Hare. Much less at... No, it wasn't 800. It was like 80 flights. It was only like 80 flights. It wasn't that bad. Maybe it was worse on Saturday and Friday with the wind. Hey, thanks for watching from New York. This is Chicago. So hey, welcome to Chicago. I almost slipped there. I almost took a nosedive on the bridge there. It's a little slippery crossing the... I made it all the way downtown without slipping, and I finally slipped crossing this bridge. This is the DuSable Michigan Avenue Bridge. This is Wacker Drive. There's the London House. There's the Maria Towers. There's the Trump Tower in Chicago. Not the one in New York. This is the Trump Tower in Chicago. There's the Wrigley building. Chewing gum. This is Michigan Avenue. I'm going to get across the street because I'm already behind work here. So normally I spin around and show you the nice view to the towers. We'll have to do it from the other side. This is where Fort Dearborn used to exist in the War of 1812, and it was destroyed by the Potawatomi. Look at that nice view to the Wrigley and the Dearborn here. Here's the light. We'll stay on this side of the street. Hey, look at that view. You get to the Jewelers Building, Chicago, Illinois. We got about 20 degrees, 8:10 in the a.m. heading to work here. Yeah, thanks for checking out Chicago here. Yeah. The unofficial capital of the Midwest. Don't tell that to the other Midwest cities. Hey, Blackhawks. And the Mather Tower. But hey, I hope you have a good Monday there. Thanks to the mods. Thanks everybody for checking out the snow. We'll be on noontime today, Chicago time, noon to 1. We usually take a lunch walk. I'll try to get in the Christ Kindle Market, and we'll go check out the ice skating, the Millennium Park, the Bean, and all that. Then tonight we'll head home at Michigan Avenue. I'm planning on going back to the Lincoln Park Zoo Lights on Tuesday night. I got a ticket. They're going to have vendor booths. You got to pay. You got to pay to get in that one. It's not a free night, but I figure we'll go there and support the vendors and see what get some more footage of the Lincoln Park Zoo, and we might do some of that on TikTok as well. But I'll stream going up there on YouTube. I'm still dedicated to hitting YouTube morning, noon, and night, our normal time slots. We just might stream a little longer Tuesday night. Because what else do I got to do? Oh, I'm still almost slipping. I'm slipping and sliding here. Here's the carbide and carbonability. So it's signed Murphy's Law, or knock on wood. I better get off the streets here before I slip. Head to work. So we'll see you at noontime, Chicago, Illinois. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be streaming all week on YouTube, posting reruns to TikTok, and we're supposed to get 2 to 4 more inches tonight. So if we get more snow, we'll show you how bad it is and how cold it gets. Yes, I walk in the wintertime. People ask, you walk in the wintertime? Yeah, I live in Chicago. I walk in the wintertime because we all do. Whether we want to or not. Yeah, thanks, Christy, Golden Heart, Sandra, Cabell, Christy, Grandma's Corner. Thanks, Shauna, for being on, and Mary Therese and everybody else, and Chris. One Golden Nubian. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for the good information, everybody. So, hey, have a good day. We'll catch you later from Chicago. And you always watch reruns. Go to the live tab there on YouTube, or the shorts, or TikTok. I cut out some stuff too, but not everything. And we got reruns from the parade there. Okay, have a good one here. We'll see you later here from Chicago. Very nice. There, he's running across the street there. Okay, have a great day.